We're back again with the 71 Mustang Donor, soon to be called Mustchero for obvious reasons. At this point, we really don't have any fixed set of jobs to do on this thing. We just have a number of little parts that I want to put on and a couple little things that I want to check out and see if they need to be addressed further. But we are missing the bumper and everything, and I'm going to have to try to source that stuff because 73 car, all that stuff is not compatible with the 71 or 72. So abort that mission, and we're just going to have to source that stuff specifically for that car. But anyway, we have a ratty grill right here that I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to actually attach it because, well, the damn thing's broken in all the spots that are necessary to hang it. So we'll figure out some kind of bootleg way to put that up. Then I do have a gas tank over there and a new sending unit for that gas tank, so I could at least put that back up. Also, I want to check the brake system because the brake system for some reason looks like it's in rather good shape. And it's got oil in there. So I have to see if I could possibly bleed these brakes and maybe resurrect that stuff. And that'll spare me the headache of having to rebuild the brake system. But like I said, odds and ends. So go ahead and get started with this crap. All right, we have our ratty grill in place, and as stated before, it was going to be a bootleg manner of hanging it because it's all broken everywhere. Even there's one of the tabs right there, what's left of it. But to hold this thing in on this side, drilled a hole through the plastic, and there was a hole right here in this member that allowed me to put that long deck screw in there. On the bottom there, we have an angle brace being held to a hole drilled through there and a couple holes drilled through there. Bootleg as hell. Same thing right here. 2 more holes drilled through the plastic and into the headlight bucket frame, whatever you want to call that member, and deck screws holding everything in place. So it's in. You might not be able to tell from a distance, but yep, bootleg. Let's continue. One little thing I still have to do is install that quarter extension piece right here. But part of doing that is going to involve me trimming my little panel here, trimming it on the side, and then once the panel is installed there, I have to trim along the bottom to even everything out. Same thing on that side. So go ahead and get started on that and do a little initial trimming and fitting, and then go ahead and secure this piece in, and then we could go ahead and even everything out so our rear body lines at least look somewhat even, so from a distance the car will actually look somewhat factory, I guess you could say. Yeah, somewhat. Quarter extension piece bolted in place, all our little panels put back in, as well as our middle panel trimmed up to even everything out. So now with that all said and done, we can move on to the gas tank. So let's get that garbage in. At least we're able to get the fuel tank back in, and there's even all the fuel line in place, so it's looking pretty good that we're not going to have to sit here and do a bunch of adding of new components and all. But I got my hangers in place for the fuel tank, and the carriage bolts are in place. So I can go ahead and get this thing bolted up, get the fuel tube right there secured afterwards, and then we can move on to looking at the brakes. All right, as far as our brake system is concerned, good piece of news. This 4-wheel drum brake system actually works. Still had oil in the master cylinder, so I didn't have to add a lot. And even in the bleeding process, which had to be old school because the positions of the front wheel cylinder bleeder valves did not allow me to do any kind of single-handed crap. But after bleeding the brakes, which did not get a lot of air out of them because, well, it seemed like things were still pretty functional, all 4 wheels are done and the brakes actually work. I actually got a nice firm pedal, and I did jack up this wheel to test the thing to see if it grabbed, which it did. Now, this thing is a manual brake setup, so in addition to the drum brake setup, I also have no power brake booster, which means I'm going to have to stand on this thing to make it stop from a higher speed. But it's a lot better than having to spend a bunch of money trying to retrofit the system for a front disc. So, yeah. We got a fully functional brake system. That's awesome. Also awesome is the fact that our gas tank is in, strapped down. Got a hose hooked up to the sending unit and the still present fuel line, so that's even better yet. For all intents and purposes, our fuel system is damn near done, save for the short length of hose that I'll need to run from the side of the firewall to the engine. So we're good on that just as well. And with that, well, one other thing I have to do on the sending unit, I have to clean up the little plug on there because there's broken terminals in there and all. And I would like to salvage that plug because I don't know where I could find another one to fit that sending unit. But that's a whole nother thing for another day. But for all intents and purposes, we're pretty much done on this little segment of this car build. So stay tuned because there's going to be plenty more. I think the next course of action is going to be the electrical system. Trying to get a lot of that hooked up as much as possible, given the limited resources and all. So, as usual, like, subscribe, notifications, TikTok, all that good stuff. And stay tuned for more because there's going to be plenty more on Mustchero. So I'll catch you later. It's hot out here.